Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm working on a painting, a standing tree pose painting of a young girl in front of a cherry blossom. I'm starting with a circle, something you've seen me do before, but this time I didn't trace it, I freehanded it. This is a cartoon style, not realistic, so I'm using these broad general shapes. Here I'm drawing the body, kind of like an elongated ellipse kind of shape. Then, or cylindrical, more of like a cylindrical shapes for like the arms and the core of the body. I'm using a charcoal pencil, and you have to be careful with it because it does smudge. At some point, I'll put like a paper towel under my hand so I won't be wiping it off as I'm drawing. This form came to mind when I was looking at like South Park. I was trying to create like something similar to that, but not exactly. Here I'm refining the lines, tracing over them, just getting the dimensions that I find preferable. Then once I do that, the excess lines I'll just erase. I'm using the same cylindrical shapes for the legs. Just creating the whole form in a similar fashion. Even though this isn't a realistic style, I still want the dimensions to make sense. So that's why you see me going over it a few times. In this recording, I spent more time on the drawing process than the painting process. So the other part kind of goes by a little bit faster. I wanted you to see the setup. The erasing's a little smudgy, and there's that paper towel I was talking about. But once I paint over it, you won't really notice all of that. The main thing is I would like to encourage people who are new to painting to not be intimidated by the process. Just try it, and you can use this style or your own style, whichever you're more comfortable with, but just get started. At this point, finishing up the details of this drawing, working on the facial features and the hair. Once again, using broad shapes. Nothing too intricate. At this point, I've reached the painting process, and using a flat brush, I'm filling in the broader spaces, just covering the main areas. After I've worked on the initial layers of color, then I start filling in more details. In this instance, I started with the brown of the hair, mixed in a little bit of black, and now I'm just detailing it. Other than that, the other parts are just filling in the broad colors at this point. Here are the main colors, some shadows and some highlights that I'll continue to layer on later. Then I'm mixing. I want the painting to have more texture, so for the background, I mixed in a molding paste with the paint. I started out with a cotton swab, but this wasn't really getting the effect that I wanted. So I'll eventually start using like a crunched up paper to kind of get more texture. This is purely for interest. A personal preference. The tree limbs I painted in already, so now I'm adding the flowers to them with a ferrule brush that I mixed with white, pink, and a little bit of red to give more dimension. I'm dabbing the brush onto the canvas using the shape of the brush to create the flowers. Also note that I'm using my pinky to create stability. Just as an aside, the reason that I label my brand Be Dabble Crafty, because I would like to encourage other people to venture into being creative in whatever form that they were always curious about or wanted to try. There's no judgment. You don't have to be an expert. I'm using a liner brush to add some finishing details very carefully. You want to be controlled as much as you can. Painting, generally speaking, is a continuous building up process. You're playing with textures, you're playing with colors. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't that satisfied with the cotton swab, so I used this crumpled up wax paper to create the finishing touches that I was looking for. And after this, I'm done. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll try something similar yourself.